I can sympathize with the impulse, Nico. I mean, it's like you win after everything he's been through.
I know, brother.
After everything people see, the injustices under the Biden administration, right? After all that shit, we're scurrying off to Epstein.
But brother,
what is wrong with us? But I mean, this guy must have been like,
you can call
this is exhausting.
I know, but brother, you can call them any name you want to. If that's your jury, guess what? Don't expect to win them. Just accept that you're going to get a bad verdict, or you have to adjust to your jury and present it in a way that's going to get them to vote your way. I mean, it's you have to pick your choices, not your consequences, right? So pick the choice. That's what I have to deal with. That's it. That's my jury. That's my jury. All right, fuck, I got to work with it then.
My attempt here is not to defend Trump. My attempt is to simply make an assessment of the broader political realities, and that it's not about Trump. It's not about any one person. We have cultural rot, and we better wake up
I agree.
to that reality. No one man, not even Rubio, is going to save us.
I agree.
Okay? This is about cultural rot. This is a spiritual problem at the core of the country. Apart from Christ, there is no path out of this. There was no path into it apart from Christ. Read the Declaration. Okay? So this is ultimately a spiritual problem. We've abandoned our value system. We've turned inward. It's all about me. This is a serious problem. And we are not informed. We are deeply misinformed. There is a political system that controls the American classroom, and it isn't constitutionally oriented. So people are going to have to take responsibility for their actions. They really are. And I think Trump, yes, I do believe that Trump, as well as his cabinet, assumed that this would never be. I think he dismissed it because I think he just assumed there's no way people would squander, to use your word, would squander the grace they've been given, the opportunities they've been given in the November 24th win, and that they will chase off after this. I think he misjudged it. But I understand peripherally, viscerally, I understand why he would misjudge it. Because I think for him to come to face with the fact that the American electorate is this fucking superficial, because we are. We just need to claim it for what it is. And if you don't think our foreign adversaries know that, if you don't think the Chinese know that we're addicted to comfort here, if you don't think the Chinese know that we will sell out our neighbor for comfort and safetyism, then you're deluding yourself. That's the situation right now. It's not about Trump. I realize he obviously is the president of the United States. He's got a platform, and so he's responsible for a lot. But at the end of the day, he's not responsible for everything. He's not responsible for Congress not being there.
No.
We are flush with cash, and yet Congress is repeatedly hesitant to pump money in deeply conservative causes.
Nah, man.
I'm concerned about that. I don't think this is ultimately about Trump. I don't know what the solution is, but I can tell you one thing.
Here's my gauge.
The National Educational Association, in terms of bureaucracy, that's it right there. That's the mothership. You got to go after that.
What's McMahon doing? I thought she's over there trying to...
I think this is an improvement from Betsy DeVos and Trump 1.0, but it's never enough for me. I don't think she's going anywhere near fast enough. Or maybe she is. It's just under the hood.
Maybe
I don't know.
It's a trial lawyer in me and understanding juries. If they had the Republican National Convention again today with the same people that were new speakers come and speak at the Republican National Convention again, I think the answer is no.
I would say 3/4 say no.
I would say no. You'd get your typical, whatever, McConnell and all these other regular people that of course you expect, but all the new people, the lady with all the tats and all this stuff, and all the newer people that came into the umbrella back then, they wouldn't come back today. And to me, as someone that looks at the needle being moved and someone that wants to win and get a verdict, I mean, that matters to me. And so that's what frustrates me. That's why I just loved it. I mean, it was an amazing time. I believe it was God's favor, grace, Trump's perseverance, to give him credit. His appealability, him going on to these shows, him talking, him just being more comfortable in his skin.
Accessible.
People embracing this kind of, okay, he's got these little nuances, but I mean, MMA fighters doing his Trump dance. I mean, the soccer players doing the Trump dance. People are going ape shit when he walks into an arena. That's how you win. That's how you gut this rot out that you're talking about. Yeah. And then you have an opportunity to influence these backstabbers on the Republican side in Congress and all these other. That's how you get them mad, because they're like, well, shit, I can't stand that son of a bitch, but I like my job on self-preservation, so he's going to manipulate them. But it's going to use manipulation for a good way. Manipulation is not always a bad way, right? We manipulate our kids if you have a good heart. So it would have been used. That's where Trump lost it. He read the room wrong, and he slipped. He had bad advice, whatever you want to call it. The way he like started off great, and he's had this wonderful momentum, and that's what I'm so frustrated about. So when people that criticize, why do you criticize Trump so much? Because I want this country to do well, and I believe the ideas that he was advocating in his imperfect way will bless this country. And now, as we've said, where's this golden age? It ain't coming, Jack. It ain't coming. That's just the bottom.
So you're saying he failed to recognize both realities, that the same electorate that sent him to a win November 24 because they were deeply disheartened by what was going on at the border and economically is the same electorate that chased off after Epstein, and failing to recognize that moment and properly attend to it is the issue. I think that's legit.
Yeah.
On a silver lining, the same Fox News poll that said 52% of Democrat voters favored socialism also says that only 17% of the general electorate favors socialism and 77%
Then who is that?
see it
Then
unfavorably.
who are they?
It's
So they're
localized
saying
to Democrats.
But what I'm saying, so you're saying because 17%, that doesn't work out the numbers unless you're saying you're talking independents and Republicans.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's
So you're
correct.
got it.
That's correct. And there is something like 20% of independents that lean Democrat are okay with socialism. So the vast majority of independents are not. And so that's thank goodness there's still time. Now, why is this a segue into the Spain discussion?
Everybody wants to talk about Spain right now.
Because if you want to know where we're going, that's why that's relevant. We're talking about where we are and where we've been. Spain is where we're going.
People wake up, please, man.
And Trump's
please.
actually came out this week and said that. You vote for Democrats. Look at what's going on.
Can we get a little bit more nuanced? Can you know how that happened? What happened?
Go ahead.
What happened? Because you had a ruling from what? The Spanish Supreme Court. Elections have consequences. And this is why I said, as much as I like Alito and I like Thomas, replace them now. I'm telling you guys, listen to me. Replace them now. You have to with people that are strong, not Comey Barrett conservatives. I'm talking about replace them now or you're going to regret it. I'm telling you right now. But that was a Spanish Supreme Court that made a ruling that said that they couldn't stop them from coming in. And then 60,000 men, essentially, not all, but I get it. But the vast majority, look at the videos.
Majority military age males. Yeah.
Look at the videos.
Yep.
And they swam 300 meters to Ceuta or Cueta. I mean, maybe I'm pronouncing it like a Mexican instead of like a Spanish person because they have that.
Ceuta.
Ceuta. Yeah, but
Okay.
in Spanish it would be Cueta, but I mean, got it. So Ceuta, it's a Spanish territory. There's only 84,000 citizens there. 60,000. Now, allegedly, the military showed up and sent 48,000 of them back for now, but who the hell knows? All I'm saying is they're screwed. And then they're gonna make it onto the mainland, and then under the European Union, if you make it into one European country, you can travel all of them. That's why the idea of Brexit was a good idea, but it was implemented wrong because they didn't want to be part of that shit. They go, look, they recognized that their country was being overtaken, and they said we don't want to be part of that. So if that dumbass lets in somebody in their country, they can come into my country and set up shop and not leave and bring their culture and then do whatever they want to do, and then you have a weak government, you can have a terrible society, and so. I'm just giving you, so that's where we're going, guys. And even if you're a Democrat, I'm telling you, I'm really going to make a push for the classical liberal to stand up and fight for your party. I'm serious. Fight for your party. If that's your identity, if that's your political leaning, fair enough. But not socialism and not communism. Or that's not the American way. It's never been the American way. And we used to have a healthy fear of it to where it was taught in schools, in public schools. Here's communism. We don't like it. We don't want it. Stand up for this constitutional republic we have. Educate them about how the system works. Show them where the flaws are. Vote people good in. Don't have administrative state. Woodrow Wilson sucks. Teach people about this and then get involved and elect people that are going to honor the will of the people. I'm every ounce of me of the people. But the power is in the people. The power is in the people. And to my point earlier, and that's where Trump forgot, that's how he stays strong. And he lost focus on the people. For him, and I know what he meant, Epstein, that's stupid, that's ridiculous, the hoax. Just terrible strategy on this. That's why I'm so frustrated. All right, I'll stop. All I'm saying is Spain is coming if you don't watch it. And if you don't think that's true, just look at New York. That's a couple of notches behind Spain. And then you better be thinking that we have a Second Amendment at that point, because they don't. And they're screwed. I'm telling you right now, you talk about it's an all-out war. That is an invasion to protect yourself and your children and your daughters and your wives and even your other children. I mean, this is not a joke. Study history. right? Study history.
It's a fact.
I mean, this is not a Republican or a conservative thing. It's just a history thing. Just study history. So I don't know what more to say about
And
that.
the history of Ceuta is interesting because there are really two mass ways or main ways into Europe this way from a migration perspective, Nico. We saw the first wave 10 years ago. Remember? So when we started talking about Islamic insurgency
in
inside,
Germany, right?
inside Europe, because we saw literally 1 million people come into Greece and Italy, and they came in through Libya. That's one connection point. And so this is really kind of a tragedy of geography because of how close Sicily and Greece are to Africa on that end. Here, you're talking about northern side, and you're talking the south of Spain and Portugal. This is incredibly close to Portugal as well. So you've got Ceuta, which is at the very tip of Morocco. Mm-hmm. And so at one point, Spain controlled all of that. It controlled all under colonialization. It controlled it really through the 1950s. But it held on to Ceuta and Melilla. I think there's another province there because it was decidedly in character, mostly Spanish. Now it's a kind of a crapshoot, maybe half. There's a lot of North Africans now, and the other half's Spanish. But it held on to Ceuta because it had this kind of Iberian character to it. And so it's kind of weird because it's got a bunch of fences around it. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, because of everything that's going on in Europe right now, you feel like it's a ticking time bomb. And so sure enough, you have this surge in one day, to your point. Yeah. I don't think people realize this isn't a migration. This is, if you've got a town that's 85,000 people, like you said, and now 60,000 people come in and storm it, that's an invasion. And you've destroyed the town. And that's exactly, I mean, there's video after video of them going into private residences. They've sieged the institutions, literally. Not philosophically, but literally. And so this notion that they're being dispelled, they're not being dispelled. And I'll tell you why. Last year, this piece of shit, Pedro Sanchez, who wants the destruction. People, listen to me.
He's the president?
Yes, he wants this. He's a socialist communist. This is what he wants. He's ran on it. God. Okay? Let that sink in. This is part of the platform. 1 million people that he invited came in. And in one foul swoop, he declared amnesty over 500,000. This is in less than Pedro Sanchez. Look it up. This is part and parcel of that.
Wow.
He's not freaked out over this. He's rejoicing over this.
He'll never live in it. He'll never live in it, though.
Of course not. He'll do it to amass personal power. Yep. And his own Spanish people can go to hell for all he cares. Man. But Giorgia Meloni is not pushing back and saying, this can't continue. Because you can't have this sort of free travel zone, no passport deal inside. The concept makes sense, kind of like in the United States, although they are separate cultures. They're unified by what? By Western culture, which is what? Which is really vested in Judeo-Christian philosophy. Right. And so the value system is the same across Europe and has been the same. That's why it would work. The problem is they didn't shore up their exterior borders. They never have. And so Meloni's pushing back. Good. Others are pushing back and saying, nope, that can't continue.
Even Germany's pushing back now.
But here's a dirty little secret. How successful is that going to be? Yeah. They're already there. I mean, just last week, you had another 1,500 that rode up on Great Britain. This is happening daily.
God, that's ridiculous, man.
There's no resolve. And part of the problem is because you still can't have an honest conversation about it. The left has control over most of the European political system. And so censorship is writ large. So you can't even call it out. You got to call it migration. They're undocumented workers. They're newcomers. You can't call it for what it is. These are illegal aliens. They're here illegally, and they need to get the hell out.
I agree.
And we need to have the political, and that's right, the physical resolve to get them the fuck out. Yep. That's the reality. That's it. Or don't survive. Yep. But they will not survive this.